It took me 5 years to realize how to survive winter in Korea and avoid freezing. The first one might be obvious, and there's a reason why you can see everyone in the streets wearing it. You must invest in a long padding. It stops the cold wind from going into your lower half. Second, you need to invest in hot packs. These will keep you warm for about 12 hours, and they're available at every convenience store. Might sound obvious, but it's just to stay inside. Avoid going outside unless you really have to, and plan things inside, like going to the mall. Not to start drama, but the Korean public transportation system is not as convenient as it might seem. You should totally avoid using it during peak hours. It has over a dozen subway lines and they all get super crowded during rush hours. So you might be wondering, when are the rush hours in Seoul? Well, the first one is in the morning around 8 a.m. This is when most people go to work in their office jobs. And the second one is just after 6 p.m. This is when a lot of people get off work, if they're lucky enough to not be doing overtime. You know, leaving the office at 6 o'clock precisely in Korea is a bit of a treat. If you're working here, you might not be able to avoid these hours. If you're traveling here, hopefully you can plan your trip around these times and avoid using the subway at these times. It took me 1 year to realize how to use Korean currency and avoid these mistakes. For some background, you might know that Korean money has lots of digits. So like $1 is 1,336 won. So any number that's larger than 10,000 is counted in units of 10,000. This is important for if you're spending anything over like $8, which is 10,000 won. Units of 10,000 are called man. So you don't say 100,000 won, you say 10 man. If you want to buy some Nike shoes for like 140,000 won, you're actually going to say 14 man won. Confused, don't worry, a lot of Koreans also get confused with our counting system. Mistakes I see people make when they try and tip in a Korean restaurant and why you should not do it. Americans might be shocked to find that there's no tipping culture here in Korea. And if you try and tip in Korea, people will refuse and they might even be offended. They could be insulted as you're kind of insinuating that they need the money. The exception to this is foreigner-friendly bars, which have started to add tip jars. The sudden appearance of tip jars is actually really controversial here, and a lot of people have been discussing it online. So what do you think? Do you like tipping culture? It took me 6 years to realize how to celebrate Korean holidays here in Korea. You might find yourself really lonely on the two main Korean holidays here, Chuseok and Seollal. This is because they're celebrated strictly as family affairs. During these holidays, Koreans perform ancestral rites and also honor their elderly living relatives. Because of this, you'll never be invited to hang out at your Korean friend's house during these holidays. It's just not a friend's holiday like Christmas. Instead, you might want to try traveling, but a lot of the trains are going to be sold out. So most trains and plane tickets will be sold out during the holidays, or they'll be double the price. So I think the best solution is just find your other foreigner friends and do your own event. Plan some fun day trips around Seoul or some other excursions. You can just stay home and get some well-deserved rest. So let me know, how do you like to spend the holidays? Not to start drama, but Korean snow sports are more fun than you think, and you should try skiing and snowboarding here in Korea. Even though Korea recently had the Winter Olympics and even has the Youth Winter Olympics right now, it's still a really underrated ski destination. It has a really long, cold and snowy winter. There are also so many ski resorts within like 2 hours of Seoul, and ski passes and rentals are actually way cheaper than over in Europe. One really important thing you mustn't forget is to have adequate insurance. Most travel insurance does not cover skiing accidents, and you could be absolutely screwed if you have an accident here. This is because serious bodily harm is super common when you're skiing. So which one do you want to try, skiing or snowboarding? It took me 1 year to realize how you can make friends in Korea and overcome cultural differences. As somebody with dozens of friends here in Korea, I'm going to tell you 3 tips how you can make friends here. My first tip is don't bother learning Korean. It's going to take you years to get decently conversational, and in that time you could be out making friends. Second, you can make Korean friends here in person, but you should go to foreign-friendly bars in Hongdae or Itaewon area. This is because it's not really socially acceptable to be speaking to strangers here in Korea outside of those environments. Third, you can try meeting English speakers online using dating apps and friend apps and all those kinds of things. Just make sure you stay safe. Photos of bald eagles have appeared at this Korean subway station. Can you guess why? Over the weekend, these pictures of bald eagles have appeared all over this station. Netizens have been speculating why they appeared. Many speculating that it's part of a cult or a viral advertisement. But the truth is, these pictures were actually placed here by the station staff. Why? They apparently have a pigeon problem, and they put them up as a deterrent for the pigeons, to scare away the pigeons. But experts have been skeptical about the effectiveness of these posters. Around 3,000 civil complaints were filed about pigeons in 2022. So what do you think about this method? Do you think it's effective? It took me months to realize how you can use the Korean transportation card for the subway here. Here's 2 pieces of advice you need to know. 1, if you're visiting short term, then you need to use a T-Money card. Don't buy single tickets. You can actually go to any convenience store and pick up one of these T-Money cards, and they come in lots of different designs with your favorite characters or even idols on them. But if you're here more long term, then you should actually get a bank card that has the transportation function. This doesn't come as standard, so when you open your account, you're going to want to request with the bank staff for that function. And if you've already made your account, then you can actually just call the English helpline and ask them to reissue you a card with the transportation function. The cards that have that function will actually say 교통 card on the card. Mistakes I see people make when they try and rent an apartment in Korea. Now, I've lived in 6 different apartments here in Korea, so I've got lots of experience on this topic. First, you need to have a large deposit saved. Korea has a deposit system called the key money system. This means rent is relatively cheap compared to other big cities, but the deposit is very large. Deposits these days are a minimum of 5 million won, and standard in Seoul is like 10 million won for a small place. So before you come, make sure you save up to $7,500. However, if you're working here, you can ask your company to pay for the deposit. And if your company says no, that's usually a big red flag. The other thing a lot of people might not know is you can actually negotiate that deposit. For example, if the deposit is 10 million and the rent is 1 million, then maybe you can pay less deposit and more rent monthly. Let's talk about 3 things considered rude in Korea that are totally normal in different countries. Keep watching so you don't make these mistakes when you visit here. The first one is blowing your nose in public. This is considered really rude and disgusting. Here people will go to the bathroom and blow their nose really discreetly. And the second one is writing people's names in red pen. So that's considered really bad luck, so of course it's rude. And then the third one is pointing. You never point directly at people. That's really rude and aggressive, and instead you can gesture like this or with your head. You might disagree, but here are the top 3 South Korean football players for 2024. Now, third on the list, we have Hwang Hee-chan. He's currently playing forward for Wolverhampton. His market value is currently $20 million, and he's known for his love of fashion, and he's been featured in many fashion magazines. Second on the list is Lee Gang-in. He's currently playing for Paris Saint-Germain. His transfer value is around $30 million, and he loves Korean dramas, and his dream is to be featured in a Korean drama one day. In first place, of course, is Son Heung-min. He plays for Tottenham Hotspur, and his transfer value is $60 million. He's a big fan of dogs. He actually has 2 dogs himself. So do you agree with this list, and are you watching the AFC Asian Cup? Let me know in the comments. Want to know how to overcome the language barrier here in Korea? Keep watching. There are 3 things you can do today to reduce the language barrier. The first one is learn basic phrases. This is a really difficult language to learn, but if you learn like 1 sentence each day, then in a month you'll learn like 30 new phrases. Second, just use translation apps. You've probably heard of Google Translate, but did you know you can also use Papago, which is the Korean version, and it's really accurate. And third, you can just use body language. Pointing at things will actually get you pretty far in restaurants here. You can also try to describe words that the other person doesn't know by acting it out. So hopefully this will help you when you visit here. How about Kim Min-jae? Well, is Kim Min-jae a top 3 South Korean footballer? Let's discuss. Kim Min-jae is a talented football player. He currently plays for Bayern Munich, and while he's not top 3, he's very good at what he does. Let's talk about 3 reasons why. First is his defensive skill. He's known for his ability to read the game and defend well. Next is his physicality. He's a tall and strong player who's difficult to get past. Next is his versatility. He can play in many positions, including centre-back, right-back, and defensive positions. So what do you think? Let me know in the comments if you agree with this analysis or not. Why does Seoul not have any trash cans? When you visit Seoul, you might be shocked to find there are virtually no trash cans anywhere in public. But why is that? Well, there are actually 3 reasons why. The first one is we have a pay-as-you-throw system for the trash here. When you put your trash out, you need to pay for the garbage bags, and then they will collect it from your house. And the second reason is actually littering. Because of this system, when they do put public trash cans in, people will just throw their household trash outside in the public trash cans to avoid paying for those trash bags because they're kind of expensive. And then the third one is to keep pests away. It gets pretty hot in summer, and you can get things like rats and cockroaches if you have overflowing trash cans all over the city. So it's a bit more hygienic. That could be inconvenient for tourists who are here and have to carry their trash around and take it home. How about your city? Are there lots of trash cans? Here are 3 things considered rude in other countries that aren't considered rude here in Korea. Hopefully after learning about these things, it will reduce your culture shock when you visit Korea. First one is bumping into strangers. This is really common when you're on the subway, especially during rush hour. People are not going to stop and say sorry like they might do in other countries. It's just not seen as something worth apologizing for. and it could be awkward. The next one is holding doors open for people. They never do this here. The door will always slam in your face. And again, it's just seen as a not rude here, it's just a regular thing. The third one on the list is asking personal questions, really, really common, and just an attempt to kind of get to know you better, but you might hear questions such as, how much do you earn? Have something that wouldn't be acceptable in other countries, but totally normal here. So hopefully after learning these things, it can reduce your culture shock when you visit. Okay, I see so many people confused by Korean age, and it's actually much simpler than you think, so I just want to quickly explain. First of all, Korean age doesn't deal with how old you are, it's based on how many years you've seen. Okay, for example, if a baby was born last year in December, in January it's going to be 2. Why? Because it's been alive in 2 years, 2023 and 2024. Okay, this is how you can actually calculate your Korean age. It's really simple. Ask yourself this question: have you had your birthday yet this year? If the answer is no, plus 2 years. If the answer is yes, plus 1 year. Hope this helps.